All right, music fans, welcome back. It's Dave, the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people just like you right there and me here. Chicago, the band, specifically Robert Lamm, gives an interview to ultimateclassicrock.com. A couple folks sent it to me, and I did a bit of a holy crap Batman for a couple of reasons. In the interview, Robert Lamm talks about blood, sweat, and tears, and I just did a video about BS&T and talking about how great they sound these days with Bo Bice at the helm. Of course, he was runner-up on American Idol a number of years ago and lost to Carrie Underwood. Personally, I prefer Bo, especially hearing him sing all the classic tunes by Blood, Sweat, and Tears and just nailing it, just nailing that David Clayton Thomas thing. And Robert Lamm mentions that and says, hey, these guys have opened up for us a few times and they don't happen to have any original members. Robert Lamm positing the idea that Chicago could become a band like Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Not sure when that would occur, but from the inside, there's been more and more talk about these guys maybe just not doing the Rembrandt or Picasso, whatever it was they like to talk about. The dude keels over as he's painting, and that's the end of his life, and he did what he loved right up until the end. Nobody wants to see people keeling over on stage. Just throwing that out there, it's not really a good visual. I think at that point you'd be not wanting to listen to that particular band anymore. What I like, though, about the way Blood, Sweat, and Tears did this is they recruited excellent musicians to play all the instruments, and they got a singer who's spot on fantastic, who's charismatic, who is really a very high grade singer for, a tribute band, more or less. But they've got the name because the original drummer is still around. He's kind of orchestrating from behind the scenes. And what Chicago, though, has been doing is weird. They hired a guy to sing tenor. He has this huge range, okay, but yet he can't, he doesn't really sound like anybody, which I think is a huge mistake. And that's why I was not happy when Jeff Coffey left, because Jeff played bass and sounded like the tenor tradition that they had had. Chicago's been doing some weird things for a long time. Lou Pardini sings Call on Me. Why? I don't know. Lou was brought in to replace Bill, who was trying at times to emulate Terry Kath, but really that was never a great fit to have Bill sing Terry tunes. Bill does not do the Ray Charles thing. He's got his own thing, and Lou is kind of like a smooth jazz version of Bill Champlin. He can be rough and all that stuff, but Terry brought a real grit that neither of those two guys brought. I like Bill's voice and I like Lou's voice, but they're just, they weren't designed for the whole Terry Kath thing. Robert Lamm sings Another Day in New York City. Gets out there with Walfredo and they knock it out, or not Walfredo, but probably Keith Howland. And he doesn't, he wrote the song, but Peter Cetera sang it, and it was a minor hit, and you'll hear it every once in a while on a good soft rock kind of adult contemporary station. It's not Robert Lamm singing. So, and then they get like Lee Loughnane, who gets up there and sings Color My World. So I'm doing a holy crap Batman thinking, okay, none of this seems to jive, and I know for the most part the rest of the show goes according to who sung the song originally. Although this new guy, he's all over the place, and he doesn't really, he hits the notes. I got kind of a hate mail from South America or somewhere, Mexico, I think, and the person's like, they sound better than ever. Musically speaking, they're still a tight operation. The problem is they're just straying further and further away from their core sound because they don't have anybody who sounds remotely like they used to. Robert Lamm has aged He can sing Beginnings and Saturday in the Park, and he sounds good, okay? But even so, his voice was a lot younger. He likes to claim that his voice hasn't changed. Go listen to those older records, those original records, and there's a pretty big difference. So, Chicago would be smart to do what Blood, Sweat, and Tears has done and find people to fill these roles and audition the crap out of people rather than just throwing stuff at the wall and saying, yeah, this guy would be perfect because he's friendly with the band or he got along well with the core members in the group. I don't know if that's the right measuring stick. I think performance and the way they fill the role and do they bring something else? Can they play bass guitar? Can they do this? Can they do that? I mean, it's one of those things where if you're a band like Chicago and you've got this legacy to promote and protect, you would think that you would go to great lengths to recruit folks that actually fill these roles properly. I love Blood, Sweat, and Tears, by the way, with Bo Bice. You got to go check it out. This has been going on for years. I just didn't know because I didn't really pay. I just thought this band is done. They're not even out there. And they're out there. They do a modest number of dates per year. I wish they'd beef that up. I know they're coming to my neck of the woods next month, but it's still like a 3 or 4 hour drive for me. So probably not, but I'd love to go see those guys in concert. In any event, Chicago basically saying that they may be on autopilot someday with robots, human robots who will be filling in for members who will be sitting at home and raking in the dough because typically when a band does this, they still own the rights to so much, and those fill-in guys, they don't get as much money as the original guys do. They get a cut, but not a very big cut. All right, that's my video. I'm done. I will be back with more real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me, and we'll do it again real soon.